Hi guys, good evening. Welcome to the Game Plan show. I know I'm not a familiar face. My name is Fiifi, Anaman, and I'm standing in for regular host Godfred Akoto Boafo, who due to circumstances quite beyond our control, we couldn't have him host the show today. But I've been behind the scenes working on the show as producer, so it feels a bit weird sitting in front of the camera to do today's show. We have a lot to discuss today. Remember, yesterday Godfred promised you guys that he would talk about the Ghana Premier League, so I'll take up the mantle from there. We'll be discussing match day 13, which happened yesterday. We'll also be discussing the Accra Hearts of Oak Kumasi Asante Kotoko game that will be happening to commemorate the 60th anniversary of Ghana's independence celebrations. So we'll also be checking out the story of a former Black Stars player called Abu Imoro, who has seen his life sort of derail due to his addiction to drugs, and we'll also be checking out a few things that have been happening on the local scene. So without much ado, let's delve straight into what we'll be discussing today on the Game Plan. You can follow our various social media platforms. We are Pulse Ghana Sports on Facebook and on Twitter. We're on Snapchat, we're on Instagram as well. You can also read our sports stories on our website, pulse.com.gh/sport. You can follow me personally on Twitter as well, Fiifi at Fiifi Anaman. Let me just take you through the result of yesterday's Premier League games as it happened. We had Ashanti Gold drawing 1-1 with Mediema SC at home. That's Coach CK Akono picking up his first point as coach of the Obuasi Lads. We have Asante Kotoko staying at home and drawing 1-1 with Adriana Stars. We had Wafa beating Liberty Professionals by 2-1 in Sogakope. We had Tema Youth winning by 2-1 against Accra Great Olympics, who are a bit of a messy situation going on there. We have Bolga All Stars staying at home in Tamale and drawing 3-3 in a thrilling game with Accra Hearts of Oak. We had Brekum Chelsea staying at home and beating Wa All Stars, the defending champions, by 1-0. We had Bechem United drawing goalless with Ebusia Dwarfs in the Bronx Half region. We had Elmina Sharks and Pakwesi Indos, Elmina Sharks drawing goalless with Inter Allies. Now let's just check out what is really happening at Kotoko. They've gone 6 games without a win. I mean, they had gone 4 games without a win when they sacked coach Zdravko Lugarosic, the Croat, who was given his marching orders after a draw with Ebusia Dwarfs. And things haven't really been going on well. Kotoko came to Accra for a fixture in March against Accra Hearts of Oak. That was their arch-rivals, one of the biggest fixture, or their biggest fixture on the calendar. They lost that one, and since then things have been going downhill. Now they have 2 coaches managing the side. We have Frimpong Manso serving as a technical advisor according to the management. We also have Gordon Ablode, who was the assistant to Zdravko Lugarosic, now also handling the team. Kotoko, not doing too well since losing to Hearts of Oak. They are winless in 6 games, like I mentioned earlier. Now, Frimpong Manso, before the game at their home fixture against Adriana Stars yesterday, said that they were going to win. I mean, he promised the fans that they will see a change. Kotoko were going to play attacking football. Of course, I don't know about you guys, Kotoko fans who were at the stadium. Were you impressed by what you saw? Well, you didn't win anyway. Now, Adriana Stars also, interestingly, started the season so well, but now they've, sort of hit low form, so to speak. Now, over their last 7 games, they've drawn 4 times. Remember, they've only lost once this season, but they've allowed themselves to be overtaken by Wafa, who are currently top of the table, 3 points clear of Adriana Stars. Let's talk about Wafa. Wafa, 7 consecutive games, and they've won all of them. Can you imagine? The last game that they lost was ironically against Asante Kotoko. That was in Kumasi. Now, since then, they've just been winning and winning and winning. They've scored 16 goals, consider only like 3 goals, and they are just on fire. I mean, last season when Wa All Stars won the league, they had won 4 away games. Wafa already, we are 13 matches and they've won 3 away games. Is it too early to call the title for them? I think it's too early. I mean, 13 match days is too early to predict. But then they are in pole position to win the title. And what a beautiful story it would be. I mean, this is such a young club, formerly known as Final Academy, of course, now the West Africa Football Academy. Amazing stuff happening in Sogakope. They have a very solid squad. They've kept them for a long time. Just a few players they've allowed to leave, and they are playing some very, very delightful football. So Wafa, they're doing very well. Now let's talk about their opponent, Liberty Professionals, which is the club of my boss and your regular host, Godfred Akoto Boafo. Now, yesterday they lost against Wafa, like I mentioned earlier, and Liberty Professional, before facing Wafa, had gone, 5 games unbeaten. And this unbeaten streak was very interesting in the sense that they weren't even winning. Now, 5 consecutive draws, and yesterday it's fair to say that Wafa put them out of their misery with that win against Liberty. So Liberty, also going through hard times. The Hearts of Folk, let's talk about Accra Hearts of Folk. They also went all the way to Tamale to draw 3-0 with Bolga All-Stars. Now, what that means, the Hearts are unbeaten in their last 4 games, albeit the fact that they've drawn their last 2 games. Now, since beating Kotoko in Accra, they've only lost 1, so things going well for Scotsman Frank Natal, who is the current coach of the side. Now, we'll just give you the table as things stand right now. Of course, Ashgo still struggling. You can see Wafa at the top. They're doing very well, 3 points clear at the top. We'll be following proceedings as the Ghana Premier League draws on. Remember, they'll be going on a break because Kotoko and Hearts will be playing the Ghana at 60 commemorative fixture, which we'll be talking about, in fact, in our next topic. We'll be right back on the Game Plan Show here on Facebook. Okay, so yes, let's talk Kotoko and Hearts of Folk. They'll be playing their first game this upcoming weekend in the Ghana at 60 celebrations. Now, the talk that has been going on before this fixture has been the prize money that is on there. We have both clubs accepting 50,000 Ghana cedis as appearance fees. Can you imagine? 50,000 cedis each. And then the winner will get an additional 50,000 Ghana cedis. So that means 100,000 Ghana cedis for the overall winner for the clash. Now, there will be 2 legs, one in Accra and one in Kumasi, and at the end, we'll have a winner. This is a Ghana at 60 fixture, so the organizing committee is the Ghana 60 Years On Committee, which has been organizing other events as well. Now, 100,000 cedis is a lot of money, especially if you compare it to the prize money for the Ghana Premier League, which is in the region of $30,000, which Wa All Stars won last season. Now, $30,000 is just around 126,000 Ghana cedis. So if you really look at things, the winner of the Kotoko Hearts fixture will be taking home 79% of the Ghana Premier League prize money. Now, that is a lot of money out of 2 games. Now, Wa All Stars took home 126,000 cedis at the end of 30 games, and either Kotoko or Hearts will have the chance to take home 100,000 Ghana cedis just after 2 games. So that's a lot of motivation for 2 of Ghana's biggest clubs. You are still watching the Game Plan Show here on Facebook. Follow our social media platforms, Pulse Ghana Sports on Twitter, Pulse Ghana Sports on Facebook, also on Instagram and Snapchat. Visit our website, pulse.com.gh/sport. We'll be right back. We are welcome back to the Game Plan Show. We've discussed the Ghana Premier League as well as the Ghana 60 fixture between Kotoko and Hearts. Now let's move on to a rather star story. A former Black Stars international named Abu Imoro. Now those of you who were young enough or old enough in the late 80s and early 90s will remember him. I wasn't there, so I wouldn't be able to speak too much on it. But word is that he was a brilliant player. He was nicknamed Jean Tigana, who was a legendary French midfielder. He played really well, Abu Imoro, as we are hearing. People were even comparing him to the legendary Abedi Pele at some point because he played at RTU as well. Now, TV3 have done a feature on his current plight. He's lost a lot of his money and of his life to drugs, and we just like to show you what is happening in his life. Very, very sad story. Just have a look at this.
In his prime, Abu Imoro was a midfield dynamo, capable of breaking up play and creating chances with equal elegance. He was so good, they nicknamed him after the French great Jean Tigana. He was tough, tireless, and technically tremendous, but those on-field qualities which made him a beauty to behold doesn't seem to have guided him of it, or in life after football. In his own words, his entire career earnings has been blown away on drugs. Now the former RTU and Black Stars midfielder is forced to survive on the hangouts of others.
I sometimes go to Abedi. He will receive me well, then he will give me transportation. So I'm expecting them to help me a lot. Even if a little self, I can force myself to come up.
Abu Moro, you see here with me, yes, was my senior in the national team that we had to take a lot of lessons from. In those days, He was a champion in his own class. He's a real role model. But let us look at only the negatives. What he has gotten into. If others get themselves into it, this is how they will end up. If not worse. We're still trying. We still want to get him out of this situation.
While Imoro doesn't earn anything close to what present day's players pocket, he says they are as vulnerable to the traps as anyone else. He desperately hopes telling his story will help many others avoid the same mistakes.
When I went into drugs, I regretted it very much. I would advise them not to go near drugs because they are youth. They are now coming up. And if you want to play, don't move to drugs. Keep yourself out.
Okay, so that was a rather sad and solemn story of Abu Imoro, who has lost a lot to drugs since his football career, and he's advising footballers of today to watch themselves, to watch their careers and their addictions as well, so that they don't end up where he has ended. We just hope that people who adore him especially will go to his aid. So that's the story of Abu Imoro. Let's move on to our last item for discussion today, which is the CAF draws, which happened in Cairo yesterday. Now, history was made. What am I talking about? Now, in the CAF Champions League, you know, and of course also in the CAF Confederations Cup, we always have 8 teams in the group stages. Now there's been an expansion. What does this mean? 16 clubs will be competing in groups of 4. At first it used to be groups of 2 with 8 teams. Now 16 teams are competing. And guess what? Even after the expansion, we still don't have Ghanaian clubs representing. So we have ourselves to blame there. But even though we don't have Ghanaian clubs there, we still have Ghanaian interest in there as well. I'll just take you through the groups immediately. Now in Group A of the CAF Champions League, we have Al Hilal, Etoile du Sahel, Al Merrikh, and Ferroviario Beira. Now, what this means is that Al Hilal has 2 Ghanaian players. We have Abednego Tete, formerly of Bichim United, and Augustine Okra, also formerly of Bichim United. So they are in Group A as well. Now, in Group B, I should say we have El Ahly Tripoli. Now, El Ahly Tripoli is a side that knocked out Ghana Premier League champions WA All Stars. So that is why I am mentioning them, not to remind anyone of their pain, but that is what is happening. El Ahly Tripoli have made it all the way from that preliminary stage right into the group stages. Okay, so let's just move on to the CAF Confederations Cup, which is the secondary competition, the secondary club continental competition on the African continent. Now we have TP Mazembe, defending champions. They are in Group D of that one. They have Ghanaian players. They have Daniel Nieje, formerly of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, and Solomon Asante, the speedster, which most people love. They are in the group with SuperSport United of South Africa, Horora AC of Guinea, and FC Mununa also in there. And we have the club that knocked out our FA Cup champions, Bichim United. That's MC Oje. They are in Group B alongside CS Sfaxien, who are 3-time champions, Platinum Stars of South Africa, as well as Mbabane Swallows from South Africa. So that's what is happening in the world of African football. We'll be following it and be bringing you updates in subsequent editions of the Game Plan Show. Now, before we bounce out of the studio, let me just tell you that Ben Bentil, who is a Ghanaian who plays in the NBA in the US, is currently in the country. Now, Pulse Ghana Sports will be following this closely and be bringing you updates, in subsequent editions of the show. So thanks for joining us for the Game Plan Show once again. Sorry for the absence of our regular host, Godfred Akoto Boafo. We'll be returning next Monday. My name is Fiifi Anaman, and you can follow our social media platforms, Pulse Ghana Sport, on Twitter and on Facebook. We are also on Instagram and Snapchat as well. Also visit our website, pulse.com.gh/sport. See you on Monday.